Now, before you take everything apart, I would say at each step, take a picture of how your previous pallet is so that you can remember, in addition to the video, how everything looked when you're putting it back together.
You'll notice that a few wires look different in this Nemo box enclosure because these are grid tie specific harnesses, so just disregard that. So I'm going to start by disconnecting the things I need to disconnect. I'm taking the keypad cable out, getting it out of the way, hanging it up. Now I'm removing the pressure tubing from the PCU board. Don't forget to make sure these are labeled so you don't have to test them when you put them back in. Now I'm disconnecting the USB cable at the top of the PCU board, letting it hang, disconnecting O2, basically just let everything hang at the bottom of the box. Now I'm disconnect the harnesses from the board. You actually will want to get these thermocouples disconnected and the servo disconnected first before you do that. The servo's at the top. Now string the servo down at the bottom of the box. So you disconnect the harnesses. Now you have to disconnect the battery wires from the battery box on the relay board. And you can leave the connections from the PCU to the relay board on. Well, now we just have to take the sub-panel assembly outside of the Nemo box with the 4 1032 screws. Unscrew the 4 screws connecting the sub-panel assembly to the Nemo box. Carefully lift the whole assembly out. And you got it.
In order to remove the PCU relay board sandwich subassembly from the sub-panel, once you have the sub-panel out of the enclosure, you're going to have to unplug the hour meter cable, which is right here, and as well as the cable on the very top left from the oxygen sensor. You have to remove both of those, and then you can remove the relay board PCU sandwich subassembly from the sub-panel. So once you remove the sub-panel assembly from the enclosure, you're going to have something that looks like this, only it's going to have a lot of connectorization around the edges. Now, in order to remove these two circuit boards from this back panel here, you're going to have to remove the connectorization and then take off the PCU and then take off the relay board. So the first thing you do is remove the connectorization, the ATX here, the FETs here and here, the PCU power cable, the servo fidget cable that goes from here to here, and all of the 8 fidget cables that go from here to here. To remove any of these fidget cables, you have to make sure that you press down on this little black tab on top, otherwise they won't come out. Press down on the black tab, like gently work it out. And that applies also to the Molex terminal from the hour meter. You're going to have to remove the ATX and its plug. You're going to have to remove the FETs all the way off on both sides. You're going to have to remove the PCU power cable, which is here. And there are not going to, on your version, there are not going to be capacitors here or here. This is an old version. You're going to have to remove this fidget cable for the servo. You're going to have to remove these fidget cables between here. And then to take the relay board off the sub panel, you're also going to have to remove or detach this cable from the hour meter from the relay board. And this cable on the far upper left, which is from the oxygen sensor, I had to unplug both of those, as well as this keypad cable right here. And then you'll be able to lift the relay board out.
This is the ATX, which you will be replacing.
And to remove it, there's a little latch right here, this blue latch. You're gonna have to pull or push down on that, and then it'll lift out. And we don't have any spares of these, so you're gonna have to remove this. Remove all these wires from this terminal, this 4-pin screw terminal. Okay, you'll have this 4-pin screw terminal, and you'll take the new ATX, and if you notice here on the relay board, there's writing. It says 0 volts, 12 volts, ground, and 12 volts in. So if this is here, the 0 volts is going to be this skinny black wire here. The 12 volts is going to be this skinny yellow wire here. And then ground is going to be this fatter black wire here. And 12 volts in is going to be this fatter red wire here. And then you're going to just screw all those down tightly. So once you have all the connectorization off, you're going to need to take the PCU off of the relay board. You're going to unscrew the pillar with the magnet from this corner, and then you're going to remove the 4 screws, or the remaining 3 screws, at the corners of the PCU. Lift the PCU off. Now you're going to be left with the relay board and 4 pillars here. Now, all you have to do is unscrew these 4 pillars. And the relay board will lift right off. You have these PEMs there.